Hi, welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. My name is George Alger. Today we're going to be talking about voter registration in Ventura County, and our guest experts today work with the Election Division for the County of Ventura. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So let's just get a brief introduction from each of you. Mayra, let's start with you.
Okay, so my name is Mayra Enriquez, and I work with the Ventura County Elections Division and the multilingual Civic Engagement section.
Thank you. Cecilia?
And I also work for the County of Ventura Elections Division Multilingual Civic Engagement section. My name is Cecilia Fernandez.
Great. Now let's start out with the broadest question first. So what is the Election Division?
Well, we actually are a section that's fairly new, and what our purpose is in the Civic Engagement section, it's multilingual, is we are trying to provide information material to not only non-registered voters, but registered voters as well. So the purpose of our division is just to promote outreach and to kind of have access to new voters and provide them with the necessary information of how to register to vote.
Okay, now I noticed that it seems with every election there are people like out in front of grocery stores and stuff that are asking me if I'm registered. Is that part of what your division does?
They don't work with it. Those are all other organizations that they do. They're not the ones that you see out in the grocery store. They do get registration from us if they like to, and we'll supply them. But that will be a whole separate thing from our department.
Good. So just tell me a little more specifically about what your roles are.
So we have a few things going on later this month, the month of September. Usually it falls on September, and April is the high school voter registration weeks. This week it happens to fall on September 18th through the 29th. It's the last 2 weeks of September, and we are actually going to go out to the high schools, provide them with posters, information on actually pre-registering 16 and 17-year-old students, and then we are also trying to register 18-year-old students. We've been kind of doing a little bit of outreach to the local high schools in the area, and we're really excited to get students involved and have them kind of speak up and become active in everything that is involved with making decisions for their county and, across the board. So
That is interesting. I have not heard of this pre-registration of 16 and 17-year-olds. Is this new to the county and new to
it's fairly new that now they're able to pre-register 16 and 17. As soon as they're 18, then they automatically become active, the record. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. And I think it's a great idea, just introducing it to students in the schools themselves. Okay. What more can you tell us about this?
So we actually have something else going on, and that's another reason that we're here is so every year in September we have the National Voter Registration Day, and what that is basically raising awareness to new voters and active voters to just kind of remind them that, hey, this is a very important thing that you're doing, is to kind of let your voice be heard. And again, it's going to fall on September 26th of this year, and so what'll happen is that we're going to be very active and just trying to kind of get the message across of how important voting is. So we are also trying to partner with a lot of organizations within the county that are also trying to kind of get that message across, and we would really encourage for other partnerships to kind of begin and be established in order for us to kind of get that message across.
Great. Now, once a person is registered, at whenever they do that, how long is that registration good for?
Well, it'll be good for a very long time period, as long as they keep active. As long as they keep on voting and their status becomes current. So if they register and they constantly vote, then their registration will be active. That means, for an example, if you miss 2 major elections, like the presidential elections, which is 4 years, that will be 8 years in total. So then if there's no activity, it will place your record inactive, and obviously there will be some correspondence reach out to the voters to see if they've moved. That way they can then re-register if they need to.
Okay, good. Yes. So tell me more about the intent of the not only the election division, but your specific section.
Yeah, so since we are the Civic Engagement, and like we mentioned, it's a very new section in the Ventura County elections, And so what our goal is to reach out to different communities, those voters who are not registered and the ones that are registered. Our goal is to bring up, the voter outcome. There's a lot of people who are not registered in terms because of a language barrier, could be. So we're here to be able to reach out to those people and be able to assist them with any information that they may need. And so that's why we are reaching out to communities, and we're setting up our table and just registering people.
And it's really easy to check your eligibility. I don't know if Mayra, you want to talk about the online?
So with this, the reason to, after the national voter registration, we're getting closer to the June election. So that's coming up. That's a gubernatorial primary election on June 5th. So with this, it's just trying to make sure people are registered and be ready for that election. So now we do have a website, and a lot of times how do I register? I can go ahead and they can go online and register. They can visit our website, which is VenturaVote.org, and there is a quick link on the right side where it says register to vote. So that's one way to be able to register. Again, on the registration form, there is an opportunity for them to vote by mail, and they're able to initial, and then we'll send a vote by mail to their residents.
Good. Mm-hmm. What are the eligibility requirements to vote?
So you do have to be a U.S. citizen, and again, to be registered again is the 16, 17, and 18 years old, and that they're not currently parole. That's one other thing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And just to be really clear, so even though you can register at 16 and 17, you actually can't vote until you're 18.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No changes there. Good. And then, how have you been able to reach out to the communities?
So we've been really trying to make an effort to contact communities organizations that actually kind of share our common idea of trying to get people active, and trying to be the advocate for communities, especially where there is that language barrier, or where they don't know exactly the rules of how to vote, how to get access to voting. So we're welcoming any organization that has any type of opportunities for us to bring this information. Go ahead and invite us, and we'd love to show up and kind of bring access to people that have questions on how to go about registering to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Also, just to underscore something which I imagine is probably seems like it would be obvious, but this would be a nonpartisan activity, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're not advocating for any party. It's
Correct.
just getting people to vote in general.
To become active and vote, yeah.
So there is a way that I would really encourage everyone to visit our website, because they'll be able to access a lot of information there. Like once I already told you, to register to vote, and sometimes they're not sure if they're registered. They move from out of county or out of state. So again, if you go onto VenturaVote.org, there's also where they can check, am I registered to vote? So they'll just be able to look up by entering their information, their address, and then they'll be able to see if they're registered, if they need to re-register again.
And we also have it's a fairly new app where you can also check your eligibility. There's just a really a nice amount of new features that everybody has a cell phone, so you can actually check it in real time. Once it gets closer to election time, you can actually check election results, set alarms and kind of notifications, so you're aware and you're up to date with everything that's going on.
Good. Could you comment on the ramifications of someone who has moved? So they are registered, they have voted, so they're active, but they have moved. What does this mean for their registration status?
Yes, so then if they have moved within the Ventura County, they do need to re-register. Anytime they want to change, if change their residence address, the political party, then they do need to re-register to update that voting information.
Good, and I'm wondering, could you comment on the why the voters' party is necessary, since the person could still vote for whatever party they want? So why is that even a part of the registration process?
Well, It does, then and this is all, every individual's decision, right, who they want to be registered for. When it does become isn't a primary election. So when there is a primary presidential election, then you are going to be limited on some offices, contests, I can say, like let's say for a presidential. If you're registered, for an example, if you're registered as a Democrat, you would only be able to register for those candidates running for president that are Democrat candidates. You'll be able to vote for the rest of the other contests. But because you're nominating that candidate for their party, so that's when you'll be limited. Versus someone, if they register nonpartisan, they choose, when they register at that moment they weren't sure or they chose just not to be registered with the political party. Then for a primary, they will be receiving a ballot. They won't have that opportunity to vote for a president. They will be able to vote for the state propositions, local, any other like legislative, Congress. But we do get a list from SOS, and this is up to the parties, that they'll be able to have the opportunity to those who are nonpartisan to be able to at least request either a Democrat, Republican, and it's up to the political parties to adopt that rule. And we won't know until we get closer to the election, and like again, as Secretary of State will be the one to provide that list for those people who are registered nonpartisan to at least be able to have the opportunity to request. It won't register them with that particular at that time. It's just basically that they will be allowed to vote that ballot.
Okay, so thank you. We're just about out of time here. What I'd like to do is see if we can wrap up with 2 points here. Is there a website that viewers can go to? And maybe just want to repeat the one that you mentioned earlier. So a website that viewers can go to for more information, and if there's a summating message you'd like to convey to the viewers.
Again, we would just like to, ask any organizations that would love to invite us. We would love to be a part of a festival or any type of information where we can provide just really important information regarding voting. And you can reach me at 805-654-2765 or our website.
VenturaVote.org.
Excellent, and I think you had mentioned earlier that there was some social media that you wanted to mention.
Yes, so we're on Facebook and on Twitter, so follow us, and that way you're up to date. We actually post our events on our Facebook, and if we're going to go out to a resource fair or anything like that, we'll let you guys know what time we'll be there so you can stop by and say hi.
And how do they find you on Facebook?
At Ventura County Clerk and Recorder.
Okay, well thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is George Alger signing off for this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.